Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. In 4 weeks, everybody and his mother will claim that they saw the crypto rally and that they did not have any fear during the August to November sell-off. Truth is, they did not. They will probably also claim that the crypto rally will go on for months, possibly even years. And it's true. Everybody's going to say that they saw this coming. Everybody's going to tell you when the top is in. Every time you see another push up right before a pullback, that was the top. Sell now. You're going to see so many people saying that. And they're already pushing the narrative of crypto going up for the next 3 years. Tom Lee is pushing that right now. I see other people saying this is a 2-year Bitcoin rally that we're going to see over the next 2 years. I'm telling you, we are going to see Bitcoin go on its final ascent, and then it's going to come crashing down. What happens with these utility-driven cryptocurrencies next is going to be what's most important. If we start to see adoption happening, utilization of the cryptocurrency happening, that's going to be the game changer. All of a sudden, we go into a full-blown utility run. Remember, Ripple's big idea is to use XRP once the market cap gets high enough to provide banks with liquidity on demand. This comes from smoke. So I've seen some people saying that the ETFs going live now were meant to happen right now for a reason. In other words, these ETFs are going to start to push the price of XRP up. And as that happens, the banks will come out of the testing phase because XRP's market cap will be high enough to provide the banks with ODL. Now, I think it's speculation still, but the timing of these ETFs, it's happening at a very strange time. That's the way I'm going to put it. Because right now, the world's pushing into the digital age. ISO just went live. I'm going to talk more about that in this video as well. But then we have Basel III coming up in January. We have so much happening in such a short time frame. So maybe these ETFs were meant to happen right now for a reason. Soon we will find out. The definitive guide to the top 10 XRP Ledger DeFi platforms of 2025. Now, there's a lot of different platforms creating DeFi options on the XRP Ledger. And all of these platforms, they're going to bring a lot of value to XRP over time. But the one thing about DeFi that's great for XRP holders, for the first time, we're going to be able to stake our XRP, earn from our XRP, borrow against our XRP. We're just not quite there yet, but it is coming in the short term. And DeFi was something that we could have really used back in the bear market of 2022, 2023, and for most of 2024. It would have been great to earn off of your XRP back then. But the good thing is, I think we're going to have it very soon. And that means you'll never have to sell your crypto ever again. And this comes from Flare. FXRP is holding strong, with total mint still trending upward. Uncertainty often becomes the catalyst for those willing to learn and advance. And you see, 65 million XRP locked away in FXRP, worth $135 million. And that number continues to grow. Remember, Flare wants to lock away 5% of the XRP supply. So we have these ETFs. They're buying up XRP, locking it away. Flare's doing the same thing. We have companies creating XRP treasuries at the same time. You all see where this is going. Eventually, we will have scarcity. This comes from Mason vs. Lewis. You guys do know that some random dude made this diagram back in the day, right? I paraded this around my channels like it was the word of God. Listen, just because there's a pretty looking diagram doesn't mean it's all verified fact. The person who created that diagram is actually right here, and you see it. So when he says this, what I think these diagrams were meant to do was to give you an idea on where everything is going. You see Ripple, XRP, Interledger Protocol, tied to Corda, ISO 222. Also, you see IBM in here. You see Stellar, XDC, Algorand, QNT. But those diagrams weren't factual. They were just an idea on where this could be going. Same reason that you see the diagram with XRP being backed by 1 ounce of gold. I never believed XRP would be backed by gold. However, I think that was meant to give us an idea on where the price of XRP could be in the future. But let's get back to ISO. So you see this right here. Oh, XRP is a cryptocurrency, nothing to do with traditional finance payments. A quick review of the documentation shows how inaccurate that statement is. This comes from Smoke. Take a look at the report below. Unlike many cryptocurrencies, XRP was created to work within the traditional financial system, aiming to enhance international money transfers by providing liquidity and bridging different currencies. XRP is a digital asset engineered specifically to address long-standing inefficiencies in the traditional payment system. He says, too easy. Because everybody right now is saying that XRP has nothing to do with the traditional financial system. Ripple created XRP. Well, David Schwartz and a few others created XRP to fix all the problems within the current financial system. And that's what XRP is built to do. But let's get back to ISO. So Ripple is now part of the ISO 222 standards body. We all know that as XRP holders. Ripple was on board with this from day one. But people say that XRP is not ISO compliant. And I totally agree with that. I even used that term myself, but it shouldn't have been used the way I said it. XRP can be utilized within ISO 222 messages. That's all ISO is an upgraded messaging system. And you see right here, can XRP be used within an ISO 222 message? Yes, XRP can be used within ISO messages because of its integration into platforms like RippleNet that use this standard, allowing the token to be the asset within transactions described by the messages. While XRP itself is not an ISO 222 compliant token, the messaging and payment systems used by institutions to send value can adhere to the standard and incorporate XRP as a settlement asset. So it doesn't matter if XRP is compliant or not. RippleNet is compliant. The XRP ledger is compliant. Grok backs this up as well. Yes, in RippleNet context, financial institutions can originate an ISO 222 message routed through RippleNet and settle with XRP. XRP is built for settlement, all while maintaining compliance and data integrity. This has been live for years, with dozens of banks and central banks testing or using it for central bank digital currencies and remittances. Remember, the banks are still in the testing phase. So when the banks come out of the testing phase, they could utilize XRP for settlement. They could utilize it for on-demand liquidity and so on. So I hope that clears up this whole ISO 222 argument that's going on that everybody sees all over X. And that's what I was trying to explain to people in videos over the last couple of years. Because this whole XRP is not compliant argument's been going on for quite a while now. But it really doesn't matter. All that matters is when the banks come out of the testing phase, we're going to see a much different price for XRP. King Valak says, ILP does not need XRP. Oh yeah? So Stephen Thomas, the creator of ILP, is claiming that the technology they helped build at Ripple, which is specifically designed to facilitate a large number of transactions involving XRP, was merely a playful endeavor. Yeah, okay. People are now saying, since XRP is not ISO compliant, that interledger protocol is not going to be utilized. David Schwartz talked about ILP multiple times in the past. Stephen Thomas, he told you what this means for micropayments. Brad Garlinghouse talks about removing the friction within payments. That's utilizing ILP. That's how you get paid by the second, by the minute, instead of weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Interledger protocol is an absolute game changer. Update. Holding 100 XRP will not make you rich. You will not retire. You need to accumulate and hodl. Okay, so this post, it goes down the path of 100 XRP. It depends on what you do with those XRP. If you hold 100 tokens, you could put those XRP to work for you. The price is set to go so much higher. But 100 XRP times $10,000 per XRP makes you a millionaire. And I think that's where the idea of all you need is 100 XRP came from. Because everybody was always talking about the price reaching 10K. But are you willing to hold XRP until that happens? Because if you're not, you're going to need more XRP. When can we see those price points? Some people would argue it's going to happen by 2030. Well, if you're going off the 2030 timeline, most likely it's going to happen by 2028. Because by then, I think everything that we've ever talked about, new financial system, tokenization, all of that is already going to have happened by 2028. Even mass adoption, I think, is going to happen by then as well. Quantum won't kill crypto, just Bitcoin. If Bitcoin dies, then crypto dies with it. Bitcoiners love this line. And the reason they always said that is because they always believe that Bitcoin's going to be the #1 cryptocurrency. So they believe that once Bitcoin dies off or becomes irrelevant and crashes all the way down to, let's say, $1,000, all of crypto would die also. They don't believe a decoupling could even happen. But here's the kicker. I think decoupling is going to happen by 2028 as well. I think it's going to begin way before 2028, though. It could possibly happen during this run. It could happen within the next couple of months. If XRP becomes scarce and the price skyrockets and XRP becomes the #1 cryptocurrency, the belief system in Bitcoin will be gone forever. It will no longer be the #1 cryptocurrency. XRP will dethrone it. So where do you think all the money's going to flow? Of course, into the #1 token. And then the mainstream media news will have no choice but to talk about XRP. You do realize that the only reason the mainstream media talks about Bitcoin is because they're all paid hacks. Even the people that go on there, Michael Saylor, Mahler, Tom Lee, these people are all bought and paid for. Then all of a sudden they bring somebody else onto the mainstream media news and they switch up the narrative. But the mainstream media news, their job is to bring them right back to pushing Bitcoin. We've seen that happen multiple times as XRP holders. You ever take notice when somebody starts to shift the conversation, right away they always say, well, what about Bitcoin? What's your thoughts on Bitcoin? Why aren't you talking about Bitcoin? Why are you now talking about Ripple and XRP instead of Bitcoin? Because it's all bought and paid for by the Bitcoin marketing campaign. It's one big marketing campaign. That's it. And I'm telling you, even if quantum computers kill Bitcoin, the rest of crypto is still going to be here. And most of us are already going to be retired. But until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.